Okay, good morning, everybody, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to take you through 10 ways, essentially, that you can improve your school wellbeing. So I'm going to take you through how to build a school wellbeing strategy, ideas on how you can implement wellbeing across your school, and then also give you some example resources that you can tap into to benefit your school. So let's start off with an introduction so you know who I am and where I'm from. So I used to be a PE teacher and assistant head for 10 years at a school in Bromsgrove, so South Bromsgrove in the West Midlands. Now I left teaching probably about 6 years ago now, and to set up my own health and wellbeing business. So what I now do is I've got a team of people across the UK, and we go into companies, corporate organisations, and we deliver health and wellbeing programmes. We also go into schools and deliver wellbeing programmes to staff, to young people, and to parents and families as well. Now, whilst I was teaching, I managed to win an award a long time ago now. It was the Sunday Times PE Teacher of the Year award. That actually led me on to being an ambassador for the Kelly Holmes Trust and to writing a number of resources. So for a good 10, 15 years now, I've been writing all the health and wellbeing resources for the Olympic Games. So you might be familiar with all the Get Set resources. So I'm the author behind that. Also writing resources for Nuffield Health, and for many other big organisations within the education world. So I head up wellbeing for Pixel. So some of you might be a Pixel school and you might have had a look at some of the health and wellbeing frameworks that we've got there as well. So any questions that you want to ask me, please feel free. We'll have time for Q&A at the end. And also during this session, I know it's tricky over Zoom to get a bit of interaction, but feel free to use the chat function because I've got a couple of questions that I'll be asking you just to contribute your thoughts on in the chat, and then we can feedback that way. So we know the value of health and wellbeing, and Adam mentioned this as well. So we've got, a third of 2 to 15-year-olds are overweight or obese. We know that 1 in 4 young people experience suicidal thoughts. We've got so many people accessing counselling sessions, suffering from anxiety and childline and eating disorders, all the cause have increased by, a huge amount year on year on year. Now, this is something that we need to try and tackle and that we need to try and address. And we know that these figures are slightly skewed as well. So we know that they're almost higher than these ones here. So if you need to present a business case back in your school, or you need to get buy-in from people back in your school, it's good to have some of these stats included in a presentation that you might want to deliver. So let's kick off by having a look at what well-being means. So well-being can mean different things to different people. So well-being to me will mean that I feel good. It means that I've been able to go for a run or to the gym. I'm eating well, I'm feeling good mentally. I'm getting enough sleep. Well-being to young people might be slightly different. So well-being to young people actually just means that they can cope. It means that they feel happy in their daily lives and that things are going well. So we've just got to understand the distinction that actually what wellbeing means to you is going to be completely different to a young person and to a child, and also it's going to be different to their families and parents as well. Now, if we can tackle wellbeing, then we can also help with young people and children's learning. Now, I firmly believe that wellbeing and learning can't be separated. If somebody's happy and life's going well, they're actually going to perform better at school. So it's really crucial that we make sure that young people are feeling supported, they feel happy, they feel loved, and they feel safe and secure. So I'm going to take you through then how you can build a school-wide wellbeing strategy, and I'm going to take you through this step by step. First of all, I've got a quick question for you, if you can contribute in the chat, is actually how many of you have a wellbeing strategy in place? Now, I've given you some ideal answers that you might want to reply with. So these are just example ones. It might be, yes, you've got a wellbeing strategy. No, we don't have anything. You might have ad hoc initiatives and activities in place. You might have a policy, but no actual program. So if you can contribute in the chat function now, that'd be really good, just to have a look at how many of you have got a wellbeing strategy in place. And I'll try and figure out how I can look at the chat now. There we go. Come on, type away. Yes, no. Don't have anything. Do you have something? Okay, number of wellbeing activities for staff and children, no strategy, but a few things happening. Okay, previous school had a wellbeing program in place. Ad hoc activities, but consistent strategy. No consistent strategy. Okay, yeah, that's quite common. Okay, good. So the feel then is, and this is probably the same across a number of schools, is that you've got activities in place. They might be ad hoc, they might be piecemeal, they might be run by different staff, but there's no kind of overall strategy in place, and maybe it's not owned by anyone in particular. So it might be that you know, you have somebody leading on things for PSHE. It might be you have somebody running with extracurricular, but there's no real link up. Nothing currently in place for children and staff. Okay, good. So hopefully then lots of you will find this really beneficial this morning. So let's move on then to look at how you can build your strategy. The first thing is to actually think about engaging with your whole community. So if you're setting up wellbeing in your school, don't just think about your pupils, right? You've got a community here. So you've got staff, you've got parents, families, carers, and you've got pupils as well. So it's about thinking about all of them and how you can put on an approach that is going to tackle wellbeing across all of them. It might be that you're really strong in one area, and I had a consultation with the school yesterday, and they had loads going on for pupils, and they had a brilliant program, and we couldn't really enhance that much more. But what they failed at is they didn't communicate to their parents. So in fact, they had loads going on for pupils, but they were missing a trick by not communicating maybe healthy recipes or healthy eating or ideas to exercise at home, or just informing parents of how they can support their young children with mental health. So that's something that we put in place there, and also then they can support their staff as well. So it might be that you need to do a bit of a mapping exercise to look at actually what provision have you got for your parents, for your staff, and for your pupils. So the first thing to do is to set up a wellbeing committee. Now, wellbeing can't really be delivered by one person in your school. You need a few people to lead on it. You don't have to have a lot, but I would just say have the key people. So it could be it's yourself. It could be that it's a member of senior management, whether that is yourself or somebody else. It could be you have your PSHE lead. It could be that you have somebody in charge of PE lessons. So it could be that you have an outside counsellors that come in and support your school. So just think about who are the best people to have as part of your wellbeing committee. And then what you can do is together, you can then lead on the wellbeing strategy. Also then it becomes more of a strategy rather than an ad hoc approach. If all of you get together every half term as a wellbeing committee, look at what you're providing for the next half term across the board, then it becomes, you know, more tied together, more consistent. So think about having a wellbeing committee. You could also invite some pupils onto that, because pupils' views are always important, and you could also invite parents. Or if you've already got a parents' teacher association set up, you could just take it to them rather than setting up something completely different. Tap into whatever you've got going on at the moment. So another question then for your chat is at this stage is, do you have a wellbeing lead for your school? So maybe answer some example answers, yes we do, no we don't, or different staff deliver different parts, or we have got a wellbeing committee. So just jot your answer down in the chat so we can have a look now. Okay, we had a wellbeing team, good. Yeah, wellbeing lead, excellent. No lead, yes we do. Okay, so there's a few of you who've got a wellbeing team, and a few of you haven't got a lead, and some of you, yes, you do. So Senko seems to oversee wellbeing things. Yeah, okay. So it's where then, you know, if you've got a Senko, if you have got a wellbeing lead, you might want to widen that to set up your committee. So then, you know, you can take on the approach from a wider stance rather than just using that one person. Okay, so I'm now going to take you through how to do this. Now, we've got a 4-step approach, and this works in every organisation that we've been into, and it works really well. First of all, it's about consulting, then it's about creating your programme, then it's thinking about how you can engage with your pupils and your parents and your staff, and then it's analysing the programme. So I'll take you through each of these now. So the first thing is to consult. So it might be once you've set up your wellbeing committee, you've got everybody in your room, then this is the time you want to do your mapping exercise. So I would use a big whiteboard or a massive piece of paper, have 3 columns, pupils, parents, staff. Write down everything you provide for your pupils in 1 column in terms of wellbeing. Write down everything you provide for your parents, everything you provide for your staff. And then what you'll start to see is any gaps. And I guarantee you'll be providing loads for pupils, but your parents and staff will be lacking. So write down everything that you currently provide. That will give you a framework as well, so you can see what you're providing across your year groups and across your school. So do a kind of consult exercise. So you map all your current provision, you see what you've got going on. You might want to talk to your staff and parents and pupils and just find out what they want, especially your older age groups, you know, your year 5, 6, those kind of ages. What support do they want? Is it that they need help with healthy eating? Is it that they need more ideas to keep fit and physically active? Or is it that they need to build their resilience or confidence or happiness? So there are some surveys that you could run, or just get together a group of pupils and run a couple of sessions where you can speak to them and find out more about what support they would like. This is where you might want to think about your school ethos, your values, and build those in. At this stage, I'd also ask if you've got any budget to spend on health and wellbeing. It doesn't matter if you haven't. There's things that you can tap into. There's local grants. Now, they've just opened up the Awards for All bid again. So you can bid up to £10,000. Everything is online now. It's a lot shorter application than it used to be. So go on to Big Lottery Awards for All. You can put in a wellbeing bid, which supports your pupils, your parents, and your staff, and you can apply for up to £10,000. Highly recommend that. That will see you through to the year, and you know, you can provide a really good programme with that. Also, in terms of local grants and awards, go onto your local county sport website. So County Sport Partnership website. On there, there'll be lots of local grants that you can apply for. And it might be that you can get £500, £1,000 to run some various activities to support in your school. So have a look on those 2 things, are probably the best ones to look for. Supermarkets like Asda or other kind of banks, they often do various bids that you can apply for locally. So if you know your nearest supermarket, you might be able to get some money from them. When I was teaching as well, I used to write off to lots of different local companies. Housing companies are a good one as well. So if you live in an area where they're building new houses, you can write to them. They like to support schools. They like to support them because obviously you're the perfect target market for parents to buy those houses. So again, they might then support you with sponsoring something. They might buy you a load of t-shirts for your school. So there's always ways that you can kind of, even if you've got no budget, to then buy, you know, to get buy-in from local companies or to get grants. So I strongly recommend go for the Awards for All and have a look at your local county sport partnership, and also look at some companies that you could apply for. During this consult phase then, so maybe this is your first wellbeing committee meeting, write down your school expertise. So, you know, who have you got in your school that can support with wellbeing? Also, you might want to open this up to your parents. Now, I know that some schools have been really clever about this, and they haven't had any budget, but they've thought, hold on a minute, we've got 100 or more pupils in our school. That means we've got a number of more parents linked to the school, and I guarantee some of those might be a nutritionist, a yoga specialist, or they might be, you know, they might work in a bank. They might be able to support by coming in and delivering some CPD for your staff, maybe on financial wellness. They might come in and do a nutrition talk for your staff. You might get somebody come in and do, you know, a mindfulness session with your pupils. So it's always worth putting it out to your parents' association, or if you've got social media pages, maybe on Facebook, putting it out there, just asking what expertise are in your school community. And if anybody is willing to do a half an hour or an hour session to support your school. And I know some schools have done that and ended up with, 12 sessions, one a month, completely free, because they've been clever about actually utilising their community. So there's things that you can do there if you've got no budget. So this first stage then, it's the consult phase. It's very much about finding out where you are now in your current provision, your current state, and where you want to be. Have you got budget? If not, are you going to apply for some, or how are you going to deliver your program? Consult with your students, your staff, and your parents to find out what kind of support they want. And also you might want to look at if you've got lunchtime leaders or wellbeing champions or peer mentors or people like that who are going to help you get messages out to your pupils and to your parents. So this is very much the consult phase. Then we move on to the create phase. So once you've mapped everything out, this is when you can start to look at, okay, how are we going to create and support our pupils? How are we going to deliver it? Is it that you've got a really good PSHE program running, and that you deliver wellbeing through that and through the curriculum? I'm sure you all do. You've probably got extracurricular programs in place, maybe breakfast clubs, lunchtime clubs, after school clubs. How about selected projects then for intervention groups? Maybe it might be that you do a survey and you discover that you think that you've got a certain amount of young people who would really benefit from a separate project that is run maybe in curriculum time or after school, and it might be all to do with healthy lifestyles. So think about how you're going to target specific groups in your school and support them as well. You might want to do some drop-down days. I know a lot of schools do half days or full days every term. They have a drop-down day. You get people in, they can experience different activities or different workshop sessions, and also you can get staff involved as well. So some schools have that, and that works out well. You might have a school counsellor that comes on site and does some one-to-ones with young people. You might do mentoring programs. You might also do like a fitness challenge as a school. So, running something that is a whole school approach and a whole school challenge. So this is where in the create and support, you think about your delivery options. What delivery mechanisms have you got available to you to utilise? It might be that you do parent sessions as well, family sessions, as well as staff CPD. So this is just looking down as a school, look at your timetable, look at your provision, and what could you potentially put on offer. So I'm going to stop at this point because I want you to contribute in the chat again, to tell me what kinds of health and wellbeing programs or strategies or initiatives are you running at the moment in your school. So anything that you think is running particularly well in your school, maybe it's not been over the last year because of COVID, maybe think back before that, or maybe think ahead. What kinds of things are working really well in your school? Just to share them now, and then I'll share with you some different ideas of what other schools are doing. So spend some time, a couple of minutes, writing down in the chat, just bullet points, particular activities that you're doing that work really well in terms of health and wellbeing. Come on, a few people start writing in there what you're doing at the moment, even if it's one idea that's working really well, so we can share it with the group. Okay, people and family support, members of staff, play therapist, nice one. Friday afternoon, free time Friday, I like the sound of that. Chair yoga, staff wellbeing days, excellent. Here we go, we've got lots of things. Fitness challenges, daily mile, healthy eating, fake away sessions, yoga CPD for staff wellbeing, golden time, excellent. Relaxed kids, yoga activities for classes, nice. Any others? Okay. If you want to carry on and writing any others in, you go for it and we can come back to them at the end. Okay, mindful breathing, good. So it looks like a few of you got some good ideas that are happening and taking place. Here then are some example things of what you could do. So if you're running a wellbeing program, it seems to have worked really well that people have a name for their wellbeing program. Could be linked to your school. You could put it out as a competition for pupils to think of a wellbeing name and a logo. Then you stick that logo on everything that goes out to pupils, parents and teachers. And what that does, it just makes your wellbeing program explicit. So then people feel like, oh, actually, you know, we have got lots going on to do with our wellbeing program. Young children then think, oh, that's part of our wellbeing program. And then they start to link it all together. The fact that healthy eating links with mental wellbeing, because often they don't understand that feeling happy and having confidence, they don't think that that's to do with well-being. So if you stick a badge on it and a brand on it, then they start to realize, okay, that there is a link between healthy body and healthy mind, and exercise and healthy eating. So it's quite a good thing to do, is to put a brand name, a logo, like I say, stick it out as a competition for pupils to design the badge for it, and then you can put that on everything you're doing. Other schools have been running the mental health first aid teacher training. So you can do the half-day session, there's a one-day session, two-day session. We're actually running them online at the moment, but they are coming back on site very soon. Have a wellbeing committee. Some of you have got wellbeing champions, or people that, you know, lunchtime leaders. So think about having those kind of champions in your school. Staff training. Some schools have regular staff training, or they have opt-in sessions. So it's not part of your actual CPD program, but it might be that, you know, you have a nutritionist in for an hour and it's up to people if they want to go along to it or not. So if you have it as an opt-in, it doesn't form part of your CPD. People don't feel like they have to go, but actually, because it's something they're interested in, you'll realize that they will go along to it. So think about having different things on for staff. It might be that you have one-to-one mentoring sessions or counselors in. You might have mentors. A lot of you have got yoga and mindfulness. They're really common at the moment. Active miles. Some schools have done fitness challenges or parent and family sessions. Some schools have food ambassadors or have done resilience programs like Thrive. It might be that you want a wellbeing calendar. So, sorry, my cat has just jumped off on it. Might be that you have a wellbeing calendar. So, you know, rather than thinking, oh, this next half term, what should we do? It's being more strategic with it. So look at the next kind of 12 months. So start maybe now looking at September and next academic year. Look at all the kind of health and wellbeing days there are. There's things like nutrition and hydration week. You've got children's mental health week. You've got women's health, men's health, you've got physical and national fitness day. There's lots of different days like Healthy Heart Day that you could tap into as a school. They often have lots of different resources on their websites. So if you look at the calendar, for a calendar of events, you can get this from the NHS website. You can look at all the different health and wellbeing days, pick ones that you think are interesting or you want to celebrate as a school, go on the website and you'll be able to download assemblies, you'll be able to download posters and packs about how you can get involved. So it's really good to link in with the National Awareness Days. And also that means that you've got some kind of framework to your wellbeing, rather than getting to every half term going, oh my gosh, what should we do this time? Should we do this, that or the other? Be a bit more strategic, map it out, plan it out. Other things you can do, like I said, is apply for the Awards for All bids. Some schools do the Couch to 5K. Some schools have breakout rooms or school dogs, and, you know, healthy eating challenges. These are some of the things that people have been doing virtually, but it might be that actually you found they work well and you might want to carry on doing some virtual activities that young people can then take home. So they've been doing like wellbeing wake-ups, home activity packs, home fitness challenges, getting people involved in like a dance move montage where you do a dance move each and link it all together. Fitness sessions, singing together, online talent shows that's been going on, virtual challenges, photo challenges. So it's Mental Health Awareness Week in a couple of weeks. The theme is the great outdoors and being outdoors. So you could always put a photo challenge out to your to all of your staff, your pupils, and your parents and families, saying it's Mental Health Awareness Week. It's about being outdoors. Send us your photos of being in the great outdoors, and we'll have a photo competition. So, you know, it's about thinking about doing things like that to engage young people. Now, I found some really good resources on this site here, which is partnershipforchildren.org.uk. So this had loads of activities for staff and families to do to support with wellbeing, mainly during lockdown, but there's some great ideas and great worksheets that you can print off and you can deliver in lessons at the moment. So have a look on that website, www.partnershipforchildren.org.uk. Guarantee there'll be something on there that you can run in your PSHE lessons. And a lot of it, you know, it was really positive and supporting young people through lockdown, looking at their experience. Now, other things that you can do, and I thought this was really good, and I found this a few weeks ago, is actually looking at how wellbeing is taught across the school. Obviously, you've got your curriculum, PSHE, but some schools are using the 5 ways of wellbeing. We know that you might be using them already, but they were using it as a framework to deliver health and wellbeing in their school. So they were then looking at connecting and then linking their PE lessons to connecting. So thinking about balance change, team activities, outdoor adventure. So if you link that to connections, then you're always linking back to ways of wellbeing. Being active, then you've got treasure hunts, your team sports, daily miles, active lunchtimes, obstacle courses, bikeability. Learning could be learning new skills, but in any subject across your school. So they were linking in the 5 ways of wellbeing across their whole curriculum. And I just thought it was a really nice idea and something that you could do in your school. So it could be that Keep Learning is in different subjects, but also through gymnastics and dance, or maybe target practice, nutrition games. Giving then is asking people to be kind, helping each other. In lessons, it could be to do with team talks, so you can link it back to the practical way. And then taking notice could be taking notice of your surroundings. Maybe if you've got like a vegetable garden or vegetable plot, you're taking notice of what you're growing in your garden. You're taking notice of what you're eating and your yoga and mindfulness. So I just thought this was a really nice way that I wanted to share with you of an idea that schools have been doing. And I think it would work really, really well. So if you do it, let me know, because it'd be interesting to see how it does go. But I've just thrown some activities in there about how I think it could be linked to kind of practical lessons, because quite often it's hard to link practical PE with wellbeing. So this is an example way, and also you can link in your other subjects with the wellness, with the 5 ways of wellbeing. So those are lots and lots of ideas for you about what you could do in terms of wellbeing. And then it's coming back to your delivery options. So how are you going to deliver it? Is it that you're going to deliver it from your school staff and you do it through the PSHE? Are you going to bring in experts that are going to help you deliver your sessions? Are you going to do drop-down days, targeted sessions for selected pupils? Have you got like a website that you can put information on for staff and pupils? How about having a notice board in every classroom or just in the school that's dedicated to health and wellbeing, maybe the 5 ways of wellbeing? Is it that you're going to produce a newsletter? And the school that I had a consultation with this week, we said the one thing that would be really good is if you produce a monthly newsletter that can go out to your parents and also your staff. I'm more than happy to send you an example one that we use. So you can have a look what you put in it. We put in things like top apps of the month. We put in all the different awareness days. So for May, it's about getting outdoors, ideas people can get outdoors in the family, a recipe of the month, the top apps, and just different top tips really. You might also want to think about any rewards or benefits. So if you're going to run a school challenge, have you got some prizes? Can you link in wellbeing with any house systems that you've got going on? So this is the delivery, is really thinking about all your communication channels. And that leads on to the engagement piece, because quite often you can have a wellbeing program in place, but young people and parents and staff don't know about it. So, you know, it's great having things in place, but let's shout about it. Social media, whoever's in charge of your social media, put on there what you're doing. You know, you might want to have a tip of the week or a photo of the week that supports wellbeing and put it out there for everyone to see. This is where, you know, the engagement is part of your having your wellbeing committee, having any champions. They will help participation. Have your regular meetings. Like I say, build a calendar. So look at all the National Health and Wellbeing Awareness Days. I can send you a calendar for the remainder of this year now, so you can have a look at, and then you can go on the NHS website for next year. So have that. Think of your communication plan. So how do you email or how do you contact parents? Is it text message? Is it you know, email? Is it that you've got a website that people go on? And think about where you're going to hold your health and wellbeing information. Another way that you can deliver it is through assemblies. So maybe every half term you think, right, okay, this is going to be our theme for this half term. We're going to do an assembly on that to do with wellbeing. So maybe you have a happiness theme and you want to do assembly on it. Maybe you're looking at nutrition and hydration or staying safe in the sun. That will be another assembly that you can do for another half term. So map out what you're going to do and be strategic rather than being ad hoc. Think about newsletters, leaflets, posters that you can display in school, and maybe any events that you could run. And then it's about analysing your programme. So it's all very well having a programme in place, but you want to make sure that actually what you're delivering is having that impact. So you might want to run pre-surveys. If say you're doing a selected project, you might want to run some surveys before it and some surveys after it so you can get some data. Look at your participation rates of your activities, get feedback from your community. So from your staff, from your pupils, from your parents, how are things going? Are they enjoying it? Do they want different things? So, you know, build your data, build your evidence, because this will help you then maybe gain budget for next year, but also help with feeding back if you're doing any awards. So have a look at the, you know, the impact that you're creating. And if something's not working, change it. So finally then, here are some wellbeing resources that you can tap into. You may already know about some of these, but some of them might be new to you. So there are websites that you can just trawl through and have a look and get some resources for. You've got placetobe.org.uk. You've got Mentally Healthy Schools. That's the one through William and Kate, I believe. You've also got the Charlie Waller Memorial Trust. Now that's a really, really good one. They have loads of webinars, loads of information for staff wellbeing, loads of information to support young people. They often, or they used to, pre-lockdown, you used to be able to book school visits in for them to come in and do like an anxiety workshop or a happiness session with your pupils. So go onto the Charlie Waller Memorial Trust, have a look through their website. There's so much on there and it's really, really good. You've got Young Minds, you've got Anna Freud. She has got lots of resources again. Kidscape, which helps with being me. You've got your PSHE Association lesson plans, Thrive Approach, which is something you're doing. These ones at the bottom here, Loggerhead Publishing, Hinton House, and TTS, these are all publishers, and publishers create resources. So go on there because they've got health and wellbeing booklets and they can help again with maybe the strategy side of things, but also with lesson plans. So there's lots of things available to you. So let's have a quick recap then on the implementation. So think about staff training. Are you going to run any mental health first aid awareness courses? Are you going to support your staff with health and wellbeing in any way? Have a look at your school wellbeing calendar, create a calendar, looking at the NHS website and thinking ahead for next year. Have wellbeing ambassadors or link in with your current lunchtime leaders or current ambassadors. You'll have PE lessons, so you do your mapping exercise with your pupils, with your parents' provision and with your staff provision. Maybe run whole school assemblies, different theme each month. You'll have things already going on in PSHE lessons. So think about that target groups where you might want to put different specialist support in, and you'll already have hopefully things going on for breakfast, lunch and extracurricular clubs. So this is just about the implementation. If you hit all of these, you're doing really, really well. Okay, and each of you are on a different journey, fully appreciate that. So just pick things up which you think are going to help you this next kind of term. So my final summary then, the top tips are, think about your community as a whole. It's not just your pupils, it's your entire community. Set up your committee, think about that whole school approach, consult with pupils, with parents, with staff, find out what people want, create a program that's going to work for you. Look at your current wellbeing provision, map it all out, identify the gaps. Then you can look at the various delivery options that are available to you. Remember to try and engage with people. So look at your wellbeing comms. How are you going to get information out there to everybody? Analyze your results, and then utilize all the wellbeing resources that are available to you. There's so much out there that you can tap into for free, as well as maybe paid for resources. So make sure you have a plan going ahead. Now, I will give you an action plan where you can identify your assets. So where are you currently winning? Looking at your levers, so what's available to you with your community, your school, any local programs, and also you can write in any challenges, maybe obstacles that you need to overcome. So I'll give you this so you can have a look at it after today. And that concludes my session on a whistle-stop tour of how to build a wellbeing strategy. Now, I hope you found